Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Online Course Podcast, the place where online course creators go to sell more of their online courses. I'm super excited because we've got an absolute rock star on this week, and he's from the same part of the world as me, or a similar part of the world anyway, which is always cool. A little bit about this person. He's a coach and mentor. His forte is Facebook groups, which is a very hot topic in today's world in this space. He helps entrepreneurs by helping them grow, engage, and monetize their Facebook group without feeling salesy or douchey. He's the owner and admin of what I think is one of the best Facebook groups in the world on Facebook for people that want to grow their Facebook group. So if you're not in that, make sure you join. I'll put the links below. He's very successful himself. He's sold over 150 of his online programs in the last year. His clients are very successful. He's got 6-figure clients, 7-figure clients. He's also a big charity person as well, which I love. He donates to the I'm not going to attempt to say it, but he attempts to a children's home there in India. So without further ado, let me introduce the one and only Mr. Ryan Bowles. Ryan, how are you?
Awesome, Jono. Dude, thanks for having me on. One, I love that you called me a rock star because I used to be in a band. And two, the children's home is Baraka over in India. So thank you for bringing both those points to the podcast.
And thank you for not butchering the name, right?
Yeah, that's right. Appreciate it.
No dramas. So Ryan, I like to start all my podcasts off with a quote or mantra that inspires you or fires you up. Have you got one for us?
Yeah, dude, the longest or the one that I've had for the longest time that if anyone asks me this question, it's always this is it comes from, a good friend of ours, Zig Ziglar. And he says that you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough others get what they want in life. And for me, that just sums up the whole game.
I love you even more now because literally I've got a podcast after this and someone's asking me that question. And that's you might not be able to see it from here.
But you've got it written down.
Got it written down. I don't know if you can see it. Well, not with my handwriting anyway.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So,
perfect.
Awesome. Good to hear. And yes, let's, you know what? Actually, let's spend a minute or two on that because that's my favorite quote. And sometimes I assume everyone else knows it and understands it anyway. Ryan, do you want to just expand a little bit on that? And then I'll give my 2 cents as well. But why? Yeah. Tell me about that quote.
I've been around Zig from a young kid, I guess. Dad was, totally an advocate for his cassettes and books and seminars and everything. So I guess when I came of age to understand the quote, it was for me quite simple. It's like, all right, no matter what industry or business I create or go into or job, just by serving, by giving, by adding value, by connecting with people and helping them one step ahead, it will also bring me along that path, no matter what. So it wasn't industry specific. And it's proven that way across all the industries that I've been in the last 13 years in business. So I just continue to love it and know that in the down times when you might feel some tension on the business or, relationships or struggles, etc., that doubling down on that method always has a positive ROI.
Yes, love it. No, I'll give my 2 cents. My first business was in the fitness industry.
Nice.
I ran a boot camp. Yeah. And I used to suck at running a boot camp. I was so bad, right? I was in a franchise. There were 75 different boot camp locations across Australia and New Zealand, and you were ranked based on your retention. How many of your clients came back for the next 12-week challenge. Now, take a guess, Ryan, 1 being the best, 75 being the worst. What do you think I was ranked?
74.
I wish I was ranked 74. I was 75, right? And my mindset then was, how can I get more clients? How can I make more money? And it didn't work. I was ranked 75 out of 75. Then I read that quote and I was like, well, hold on. Maybe if I can just get my clients the best results possible and give them the best experience possible, maybe they're going to come back for another 12-week challenge. Maybe they're going to tell their friends. Maybe I'm going to have some testimonials.
It would make sense in hindsight, right?
Exactly. And that really helped me to not come 75th.
Totally.
And then same with my second business. I then helped personal trainers improve their boot camp. Same sort of thing. I was obviously not 75th then, but I was like, okay, hold on. If I'm going to sell more of these courses, I've got to make sure that it's an amazing course and it gets people amazing results. And then same thing, they're going to buy another course and tell their friends, yada, yada, yada. So I love that there.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Super cool. I think we just became best friends. So,
Ryan, I've been following you on social media for a while. I've been in your Facebook group for a while, but I'm not sure if my listeners know who you are. So Feel free to take as long as you like. You know, you can tell us in 2 minutes, you can tell us in 20 minutes. What is it you do? Why do you do it? Who do you help? Why should we listen to you? Take
Yeah.
as long as you want and go for it.
Dude, I guess backstory, and maybe this will relate to a few listeners and viewers. Finishing school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and that was 2006. To show off, sort of how old I am, if anyone wants to add that up. And school was pushing university, and I didn't want to continue the formal study or traditional study as such. And so I just knew that I didn't want to have a boss or go down that study route. So I actually formed a metal band after school, and we grew that and toured the world and signed to Sony and did all this stuff. And that's sort of where I learned marketing, etc. So to fast forward the story, I've also been a personal trainer and had my own fitness business a long time ago. And I know if anyone's watching, they can tell by the size of my arms that I was in that. I have, done sales representative jobs. I've been through MLM. I've created my own sunglass and watch retail brand manufactured from China and walked the floors of the manufacturing factories. And it's led me down this path to where I am today. So working with so many different people in environments, I then became great at marketing from our band and had to learn design elements and marketing techniques. And so I created quite an audience in the creative space for graphic designers and marketers, etc. And that's where I created my first course and stepped into sort of the coaching, field of play, and went down the track of how do I help someone get from A to B, create a result. That's where I started first selling courses online and creating webinars and getting people onto calls, etc. And from there, we transitioned into Facebook groups, which is way more specific. It's very niched. And for coaches and course creators specifically, we know that we can help them get a result of filling a Facebook group with the ideal people and then getting those members, to a point where they feel they may or may not need help from that group owner, and, helping them either book a call if it's a high ticket program or get them involved in a program or a membership. That's what we excel at, and we have a lot of fun doing it with all of our awesome clients and everyone in our Facebook group like yourself.
Yes, love it. All right. Now, I figure we go 3 ways here, Ryan, because I think there's
Cool.
3 cool ways we can go. Let's spend a couple minutes talking about why Facebook groups. Now, you're probably going to be speaking to the converted here, because literally every second person or every person I speak to is like, hey, I know I need a Facebook group. How do I grow it? How do I keep them engaged? How do I make sales from it? So let's spend just a couple minutes, the overview of why Facebook groups and why it's so powerful to have your own. Then we might get into a bit, speak to the people that already have their Facebook group. Okay, cool, you've got it, but there's 50, 100 people. How do you fill it with people that are actually your type of people?
Sure.
And then we also go to the sales side of things. Great, now you've got a group with a couple hundred people, but you're not making any dollars. What are you doing there? So let's just start with the first one. Couple minutes.
Sure.
Why Facebook group? Why should we have one as a course creator? Why will it help? Why should a course creator have one?
Man, I can sum it up faster than a couple of minutes in one word. The reason you should have a Facebook group is because of rapport. It is the simplest and quickest and best way I've seen across the internet to build rapport with a potential client anywhere. So when it comes down to rapport, if you've been in sales any length of time, rapport in the first few seconds or the first, meeting is what will create the sale. It's not about what you're selling and the price point. It's whether that person believes in you, whether they're going to buy you or not. And so that comes down to, do they believe the things that you say? Have they tried the things that you've given them? And do they see a result from that? So all of that can happen within a Facebook group. It's different because I, first of all, grew a following of thousands and whatever on Instagram, but it's a very one-way conversation. You can't have discussion. You can't deliver as much value in different ways that you can within a group. When we have someone in a group, it's a two-way conversation, and that allows for all sorts of fun, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And at a point, if we've given, like we come back to that quote, if we've helped people enough, at some point it comes back to helping us, whether they do join our program and it's the right fit for them, or our memberships, etc. So That's why Facebook groups. And when you get like-minded people in one place, the momentum you feel as a business owner or a coach or a course creator is like nothing else as well. So it really does come back to you in more ways than one.
Yes, and I'll expand to give my 2 cents on there, and I might even use Ryan as an example. So I'm a member of Ryan's Facebook group. That's why I asked him on this podcast. I was like, okay, I like this guy. He's pretty cool. I like what he's posts. He's doing it. You know, I'm going to ask him on this podcast. And I think a popular thing these days is email, and I'm a huge fan of email as well.
Yeah.
Right? I think you definitely should grow your email list. But I unsubscribe almost straight away now, right? I'll opt into something. I'll get an even if I like the person. I'm probably going to unsubscribe, right?
Sure.
But if I'm in that Facebook group as well, firstly, there's less chance that I'm unsubscribing. Then I might just, put you into some other folder, I'll do a redirect into there. But even still, like if I'm in that Facebook group, I'm still got that form of connection. I might opt in again. Ryan might make a post. Hey, I've got this program, enter your details below. Then I might plug my email in there again. I'm not, necessarily unsubscribing because I don't like him as a person. I just don't want his emails at the moment, but I can stay in that Facebook group there and, keep an eye. And also and actually I'll go personal experience now. I find that if you have a Facebook group and you email as well, it makes your email marketing better. Because they can usually in Facebook, you do live videos and there's that next level of connection, right? So you're not just getting an email from some idiot, that you don't get their jokes or, you don't get the way they write. If you've seen them on video, oh yeah, this is what this guy always says, or this is what he jokes around. So I think
it creates a perfect synergy.
Yes, bang on. And yeah, the community side of things as well. There's many different platforms out there. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, whatever it may be.
Slack and a whole bunch of other channels, to create threads of people for sure. But Facebook groups, it just doesn't happen the same way.
Yes. And that's I think Facebook's biggest advantage, right? I feel like many different other platforms, but they just don't have the groups down packed like Facebook. If it wasn't for Facebook groups, I might spend more time on other platforms, but Facebook groups, and I've actually been banned from Facebook before, right?
Yeah.
And the thing I missed most was there were little things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, usually I go in a Facebook group. Okay, I want to start a podcast. Let me go in different groups with podcasters and see what I couldn't do that. It was so hard to get info.
Yeah. And it's really like scrolling through your newsfeed, only takes a few scrolls and you're like, oh, I need to get out of here because it's not tailored to certain content or specific pieces that you want to either, be a part of or read about, etc. So yeah, going into groups is the way to go for sure.
Yes, love it. All right. Ryan, next question. So let's say someone's got a Facebook group. They've got 50, 60 people in there. They've already added all their friends. Half their friends have probably left as well. And they're
which I don't recommend doing, by the way.
Let's maybe spend, we'll go ask for the question, but I think, spend a couple minutes I think that's a valid point, Let's say someone's, they've gone on Facebook and they've just added 50 of their friends or something. Some of them have left. They probably didn't even ask them. They just joined, added them, invited them straight in. And they're thinking, I've already added all my friends. How do I get to new people? What can you tell us there, Ryan?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things in terms of adding friends on your list. One, they might not want to be invited if they've heard nothing about this. Two, if they're the wrong person, they're the wrong person. So it doesn't help to have numbers in your group for that reason. It'll hurt your engagement when they realize this sucks and I'm not going to comment on anything. And is there a third point there? There's probably not. I would just say quality over quantity. That's the way to go. When you think about it, don't think about growing a huge group. Think about having the right people in the group. If it's a small group, but the right people, every conversation has a potential conversion, to your course, your program. If you've got a group just filled with people, every conversation is going to equal confusion because you're going to have to be vetting people and you come to a dead end and you're like, of course, this person isn't right for me. Either I shouldn't have added them or let them into the group in the first place, and you're back to square one. So that's handling the quality over quantity. In terms of growing your group, say you've got a group of 50 or 100. Jono, what are some ways that you've seen, if I were to ask you, if you were to be in the hot seat, that you've seen work really well that have incentivized inviting a friend to a group? What would you say?
Okay, so I've seen some competitions where it may be a matter of, let's say you're a course creator, right? hey, I'm going to give you a free copy. You make a post in your group. Hey, I'm going to give away a free copy of this course here. If you have any friends that are insert whatever your thing is, comment below. You go into the draw, you add them in this group, tag them below. You go into the draw to, win the free course. The more people you add, the more tickets
chances
you
of
have.
entries. Yeah,
Exactly. Make sure they're the right person. Make sure your questions are good in the group, so you get the right people before they join. Yeah, that's one I've seen. What's your take on that one?
That's exactly right. Running a competition or a giveaway is an awesome way to engage members and also incentivize adding friends or inviting other friends to the group. So if you've got something of value that you can give away, it doesn't have to be the whole portion of that thing. It could be a simple module. It could be a training that you've created, some form of lead magnet. You can totally give those away. And the higher the value that thing is, the more someone should need to do to be entered into the draw. So if you're giving something away for $1,000, like adding one friend to the group probably isn't enough to be entered. Probably is more likely add 10 friends that are similar. They're either a business owner or they're a chef or whatever your market
personal
is.
Trainer.
Personal trainer, totally. Add them to the group, tag them in the post and you'll be entered into the draw. So that is a wonderful way to grow your group with the right people. And again, you mentioned it, if you have your group questions set up correctly, you can vet your members as they join with ease. You can also create leads off the front end of that as well if you do it right. Does that answer the question?
Yes. So now let's go. I'll ask you a couple questions here as well. What about in regards to paid ads, paid activity? That's a common question I get asked. Hey, I want to grow my group. Should I run ads straight to my group? Any suggestions there?
Yeah, we were talking with someone just the other day in terms of their budget for that. And they said, I'd set some money aside for ads so I can grow my group. And I said, cool. Have you used ads to grow your group before? She said, no. I said, okay, it can be a costly exercise if you don't get it right. Even when you do get ads right, it can be, $1.50 per member. So if you're thinking about, I want to grow my group by 1,000 people, that could be a $1,500 exercise if you nail it from the get-go. If you don't, you could be paying $2 to $5 per person that joined your group. Now, that is saying you've nailed everything. You're targeting the exact right people. Those people are taking the steps through either your ManyChat bot on your website and coming back to your group, etc. Then they're actually clicking join and answering the questions of your group. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to make sure you can get that right. That's all well and good if you can. But my suggestion is if you're starting out or your group is small, go for the organic reach first. It's free. You can't get it wrong and lose money on it. And save ads for the back end once you've got your systems in place. You should be able to grow a 6-figure group without ads before you need to switch them on.
Love that. I've just got the name of this podcast title now, how to grow a 6-figure group without ads. I think that'll get a few downloads.
Totally. It should because we've seen it time and time again with our clients. Ads aren't switched on. They can go to 6 figures or well and truly multi-6 figures without ads and very minimal team as well.
Yes, love it. Okay, so another question here. Now, this will be a tricky one, but I think it's an important one to bring up. Now,
I'm ready.
Awesome. Now, using other Facebook groups. Okay, let's say you're, you've got your own Facebook group. You might be members of other Facebook groups in that same sort of space.
Yep.
What's your take? Is that a no-go? It's like, nope, they're in that group. I'm not going to attempt it at all. Are there ways we can do it without being sleazy or salesy? What can you tell us there?
Totally. I think, how could I put this into like a real life situation? Where our office is, we've got people neighboring us either side with offices. I think it's all about respecting your neighbors. And so we wouldn't necessarily go into their office and go just take, some tools off the shelf or a computer off the shelf and walk out and just jump on in here. If we were going to ask them maybe for some stuff that they had in there, we would want to have a conversation before we asked for anything. So I wouldn't necessarily promote going into other groups and, pinching members or creating posts that, ask people to DM you if they want to book a call. Absolutely not. I do think it's totally fine though to use other groups to ask questions for research. Absolutely.
Yep.
And on the back end of that, if you've set up, your profiles and your branding correctly around the internet, people are continually stalking. So there's not a day that goes by that I'm on Facebook and I don't see someone that catches my interest and I just click on their profile or I have a look at what they're doing. It's inevitable. So if you can make that inevitability work in your favor and you're active in other groups, there's no problem with people coming to check you out because they're doing it anyway.
Yes, love it. All right, cool. I'll give a bit of a summary there because there's a few things going on that I think are very important to bring up.
Go for it.
The first sort of thing Ryan mentioned was speak to the person, right? So great, you're in another Facebook group. If you think it's a post that might be a bit controversial, hey, you should be friends with the admin anyway, right?
Totally.
They're a person of influence, they're someone you want to know anyway. So I recommend add that admin person there, send them a quick message. Hey, do you mind if I do this? Or even there might be collaboration, right? Hey, do you mind if I do this? Look, any leads, I'll give you a few dollars or, you can then post in my group or, whatever it may be there. It's better to be upfront and honest than,
100%.
try and go about it sneakily. Ryan then said, yeah, just be active in those groups and have your profile funnel set up. If you're not sure what a profile funnel is, ideally, if you're in business on Facebook, your personal profile shows what you do. Maybe there's a banner there that says what you do and a link to your group and maybe your little photo down in the bottom left and your job or whatever. So that way, just by you engaging and answering questions, you don't even go and add people and DM them or whatever. You just do what you do. Someone may add you. Maybe you send them a DM. Hey, thanks for the request. What is it you do? Start a convo. Maybe you don't even need to because they go to your profile and use your group and join your group from there. But it's a way better system there. And then, market research, don't, it's probably okay to go on there and be like, hey, I'm putting a course together. What would you prefer, this or this? And it's okay to use those answers there. But then it's probably not okay to then DM everyone that answered and said, hey, I saw you said this option here. I've got a course launching next week. Do you want it?
By now.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's okay as long as you're respectful. So
great summary.
Awesome. Cool. So yes, that all makes sense. Now let's go the other way, Ryan. Let's say someone's got a group. They're getting a few new people in there. Maybe they've got 100, couple hundred, maybe up to 1,000, but they're not quite making any money or much money.
Super common.
Perfect. Now, so 2 questions here. Number 1, is there a number? If someone's got in their head, hey, I'm not going to start telling till I get 1,000 people, what's your take there? And then also just let us know in general, no matter what number you have, what are some ways on how we can get these people from just being in the group to buying? And I'll throw another spanner in the works here as well, because I think we almost missed a step, which is engaging. Because we might have people in this group and we're building it, but if there's no engagement. So I'm just going to throw all that out to you and
let us know.
What can you tell us there?
Cool. So I guess the first thing that came to mind was, again, another sort of member we're speaking to at the moment. And she sort of said, I've got 400 people or so in my group and I just don't know how to, offer my stuff. And she's a super coach at what she does, right? It's like, I just don't know how to offer my stuff without being salesy, I don't want to come across that way at all, which is a huge, fear or thought for many group owners of like, oh, I just want it to be all fun and games and like give value, give. But most people are over giving and sort of not, under delivering, and delivery comes by selling because we can help people at our highest level when there's an exchange of money and there's trust in that exchange. Okay. We're in contract with someone and it's our duty to help them. If we're over delivering in our group for free, you'll just create a group full of takers, people that come out of the dark and take the food and go back into the cave. So we don't want that. Jumping around a bit, there is no number that I would recommend in terms of when to start selling. I would actually say, look, if your group has launched and you've done it right and built trust and engagement with people, there's no problem with selling from the beginning. And people might have a connotation of selling as to, I need to create a webinar, get people on there for 60 minutes and then trick them and pitch my thing that they had no idea was coming at the end. that's totally, I haven't done one of those in like 2 years. I don't do those anymore. It's just not the way we do it. And we don't do it in our group. We don't go live and ask people to buy now. And there's, 32 minutes left and 5 spots. And, we don't do it that way in the typical, marketing sense. The way that I'd probably convey to everyone listening is that we want to, one, deliver value, create conversations in our group, and also poke the pain of some of our members. It's like, hey, like if we don't feel pain, we don't know what there is to gain. In the fitness industry that we were both in, people need to feel like, oh, there are some spots on my body that are not the way I'd want it, because otherwise they'll never change and they remain unhappy. So it's the same in our groups. People need to feel, maybe if it's a business related group, I'm not paying my bills, and I should be earning more. I've got a product, they need to feel that so that they can go, all right, I maybe need a solution right now. So in terms of practically the way we would do those things is by simple posts. Hey, if this is you, and our whole goal is to get someone to raise their hand and identify themselves, because then it's much easier to have a conversation. We're not pushing anyone towards a sales page or a landing page. We're saying, hey, if this is you and you would like to hit, for example, 10K months within a Facebook group, if I'm speaking personally, if you'd like a group filled with the right members instead of the wrong ones, that's engaged, that adores you as the authority, and you feel a sense of momentum, just comment below, me, and I'll reach out and we can have a chat and see if we can help you. So that's the way we go about doing, sales within our group. And let me
jump in there for a sec. If that does sound like you, what Ryan said, he's got a program that teaches exactly that. So
thanks,
go and DM him, or DM me, and I'll put you in contact, because he did a perfect job there. If that is you and you were listening to that, he's got the perfect program. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. But sorry, continue on.
Yeah, if people have got 2.5 hours a week, we say 2.5 hours a week, 30 minutes a working day, to go into your group, to engage with some members, to create a post, to set out some content for the month that can be scheduled in, that relieves you of some of those pressures. If you've got 2.5 hours a week, and you've got a Facebook account with, say, 300 friends on it, and you want to grow a highly profitable and engaged group, shoot us a DM. Then we can absolutely work together. So, and that's as simple as the language is. So when it comes to people thinking, oh, I'm going to be salesy, we bring all that down and we create a conversation. And because they've learned to add value in their group, because they've engaged with their group and their group members know who they are and they trust and respect them, when it's time for those types of posts, they work really, really well.
Yes, love that. And
I don't know if we've answered all questions. I've been jumping around, and
we'll go a bit deeper in a sec, but I'll give a quick summary there of a couple of things that I really liked. You'll see on when Ryan was going for his we'll call it a sales post. The formula he used was a common one with copywriters, which is all about leading with the problem. It's usually something around problem, amplify, solution, because if you just go in there and try and sell the solution, it comes a bit salesy. Hey, I've got this 10-week program, go and buy it. It's a bit salesy. It's almost like giving unsolicited advice as well. Who likes giving unsolicited advice, right? That. Yeah, no one wants that. But if you're like, hey, is this you? I've got this, you've got this problem here, this problem here, this problem here. And it sucks because of this, and this. Hey, if this is you, the solution is just to do this and this. And if you want to do this, hey, I've got the perfect program. Comment below to learn more. It's just, if you follow that formula, it comes across so much less salesy. So I love that there. Let's get a little bit more tactical now, Ryan. So let's say, great, you're growing your group. Oh, actually, let's touch on engagement a bit. Okay. What's your take? So say someone's got a group and they're not quite engaging. They're not quite engaging. It's mainly the group owner doing all the posting. Yeah. And they might get the same 1 or 2 people, commenting all the time. Any tips to get other people posting, or, to get more people commenting on our posts?
Totally. Great question. So I guess a common thing, it's very common, is that you are posting and no one's commenting. And so you think, oh, I should post more, or I need to do more lives. And you get on this content train, but no one's really coming back to you and responding, or like you said, it's the same people, and it gets really tiring. Then you start to think, groups don't work. They're a waste of my time. I should be doing webinars. I should be doing,
Email.
funnels over here. All of those other things are shiny objects. When it just comes down to asking the right questions within your group. And if we think, for everyone listening, think about what is the thing that you help people with? What is that industry? Is it fitness, health, food, family, technology? What's the industry you're in? And what are some like simple polarizing questions that you can ask to find out a bit more about your audience, or have them share about themselves? That's a big piece of the engagement. I simply asked a question because I needed to get a new MacBook. I said, and this was on my personal profile. It's not even in the group, and it wasn't relevant to sales, and it didn't help me build business in the way that, some people think it did. But it was like, do I get a MacBook Pro or an Air? I need some people with some experience. And it went like ballistic. It was 100+ comments. Oof. But if that was relevant within a group of, Mac users, and you help them, I don't know, whatever, like that's a really relevant question. People are passionate about that thing. That's why they're in your group in the first place. And that's how you can begin to create engagement. Now, if your group has been dead for some time, it's probably going to need some reviving. And we've got like a, in-depth step-by-step strategy on how to do that. But you're going to need to ask very specific questions to get people who haven't commented in a long time to actually jump on board. So if you've used Facebook for any group length of time, the thing you need to note, and this is a big point, is that comments are the currency of Facebook. So the more comments you can generate, it's not saying that you'll make more sales, but it's meaning that you'll get more eyes on the prize. More people will see your post, and the reach will expand exponentially.
Yes, love it. All right, cool. Some really good points there. I made some notes, so I'll give that a quick summary.
Cool.
So, and there's sort of two ways we can go here. We can do the almost the simple sort of style. Ryan used the MacBook example. Could be something simple. I did one in my group for fitness professionals the other day, which was like, all right, only one bit of equipment, kettlebells or dumbbells, go. It had hundreds again, And obviously that might not, that's not going to make me make more sales, right? But that can get more engagement in the group. And then maybe now these people comment on other stuff. They're in the group. Exactly. They scroll through more. They see my next post.
They're seeing your name over and over again, which is your brand, which is awareness of like, oh, Jono's there. I forgot. I should probably reach out to him. Oh, he's got a program I forgot about. And if your name's at the top of their Facebook feed every time they log in, that is going to help you create sales. Absolutely.
Yes. Love that. And then we can even go deeper, which is the more polarizing side of things, right? Where we can get, what I like to do there personally is depending on it is, but a lot of the times not even give a take on it. Just like, hey, here's what's happening. What's your thought? This or that, and no bullying in the comments or something like that. And the more sort of polarizing point you can get, it gets that interaction going. So
big time.
I love that.
You don't have to have the answers to everything as well, which is a big, thought for group owners. They often think, I need to know everything about anything. And that's not the case. Stay in your lane, but you can ask questions outside of that and have your hands off the wheel for sure.
Yes, love it. Now, let's go back to the selling side of things. Now, the impression I got, Ryan, is that it's not necessarily, you'll make a post and put the link and everyone buys there. There's got to be a sales process as well, where it's the group's one point, but we've got a goal to, they comment below and then we go in the DM, whether it's an automated ManyChat or whether it's us doing it manually or whether we jump on a phone call or a Zoom call. Any sort of tips you can give us there. So now let's say someone's getting some traction in their group. Right? They're getting some engagement. They're doing some of these posts, people are raising their hands. How do we go from, let's call it lead or suspect to actual sale? What do we need to learn in there?
Yeah, great question. So I think the main thing for someone listening to focus on from here is taking a public conversation private. And so that's where the sale really happens for the most part. It's where people feel most comfortable buying is in a one-on-one experience. And there's no problem in selling programs via Messenger. That's what we do in our business all day long. And taking that conversation from public to private is nice and simple. If, say, Jono, you've commented on a post and you said, I'm interested in learning about this, I just simply ask you publicly in the group, hey, do you mind if I shoot you a PM and I'll send you the details? Now you can say no, but from our experience, most people are like, yeah, I'm very interested to hear more about that. So that simply goes to private, where I'd say, Jono, just got your comment and I'd love to send you the details here. Is it cool if we chat? Okay, so the language is, just very conversational, as if we're just chatting right now. There's no sales, very dictated wording. It's very low key. And then, for our clients, we get them to follow a process of like just bouncing the conversation back and forth to find out if that prospect, one, is the right person for their business, and two, if their business can actually help that prospect. Okay, making sure it's a right fit before saying, cool, well, it sounds like we're good to work together, and then getting their commitment. Okay, what does that look like? Is it high ticket and you need to book a call, or is it a program anywhere from $500 up to 5K programs or so? Our clients sell via Messenger, and that might then include getting confirmation, asking them if you can send them a sales page to get started, sending that over, building expectancy that, hey, I'm here waiting for you and I'm ready for you to jump in, and welcoming them aboard to your program or your coaching. So it's hard to get tactical here because you do have to know what and where to go in the conversation. But basically you should have 5 to 7 questions that you can quickly vet and get to know that prospect before deciding whether or not it's right to offer them your course or your program, and whether they've said, yes, you can send it to me. You need permission both ways.
Yes. And sales, big topic as it is, right? I guess let's simplify this. Essentially, if we could go to, let's simplify. Okay. Yeah. Get that message get the person to raise their hand publicly. Great. Move that message to private. That's sort of step one. Do that. You're going to start to make more sales. Step 2, ask them a couple questions first before you go into a hard pitch, and then, decide whether it's a sales.
There should be no hard pitch. So
yeah, exactly. No hard pitch anyway, So ask them a couple questions and, okay, do I jump on a call, or do I go to a sales page, or do I send an email? And if you need any more detail than that, just do Ryan's freaking program, right? You cover all that in there.
Thanks. Yes, we do.
Awesome. Cool. Now, Ryan, we're coming to the end of the podcast here. There's just a few questions I like to finish up with. Sure. Now, my audience is all online course creators. Now, I know you're involved in that space as well. Your favorite platform of choice to host a course, an online course?
Great. I mean, for the longest time, it was ClickFunnels. We were talking about your shirt earlier and what they did for the marketing world, Russell and the team. And in the last year, we've moved across to Members Pro. So listeners can check it out, memberspro.io. And that hosts our full content platform and all of our tools and training on there. It's a wonderful program, wonderful software. We can host, multiple programs in there and give people access, and we can check where they're up to. It can send out updates as to remind them to keep going through the course, and a whole bunch more. Super versatile, and it's, really well crafted.
Awesome. Thanks for the tip. Now, next question revolves around books and mentors. So you're obviously a mentor to plenty of other entrepreneurs, coaches, course creators out there. So 2-part question. Number 1, if you had to recommend a book or a couple books, either that have changed your life significantly or that you recommend online course creators should read, whether it's sales and marketing community or whether it's personal development, whatever it may be. And then also mentors, are there any mentors that have helped you out along the way that you want to shout out, whether you've invested in their programs or whether they're just people you follow on social media? What can you tell us there? Books and podcasts.
Yeah, cool. Maybe I'll just keep it simple for the books because there's a whole shelf of them behind me. 2 really practical books. One that will help the community side. And I read this over a decade ago and I continue to read it. And I read it well before Facebook groups or Facebook was invented, is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, yes. I love it.
And so if you can grasp the concepts in that, it'll not only help you in real life, face-to-face, friendships, relationships, family. Okay, it's going to help you there. But if you can also take those concepts and apply them online, when you've got a Facebook group, it just absolutely 10x's whatever, people that you've got in there in terms of those relationships. So how to win friends and influence people. And then from a practical business money side of things, Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. That will absolutely sort of renovate the way you organize your finances and enable you to enjoy your business and not wait for someday when you are meant to retire, or the world tells you to retire, and somehow enjoy all of the funds that you've somewhat accumulated. So Profit First. In terms of mentors, that was the third question. I consider so many people mentors. My cousin has been a mentor for the longest time. We touch base 5 days a week, every morning, with a text message, and this might be practical for some to implement. And the text simply can start from either person. It just has 3 points of gratitude from the last 24 hours, 1 or 2 or so learnings that we've learned either about our business, ourself, or whatever the case. And then our top intention of the day. So, we just say we say, I'm grateful for 1, 2, 3. I learned X, Y, Z. And then today will be a win when and then fill in the blank. And we've been doing that for like 5+ years. And we have a, fortnightly or 3-weekly call where we catch up and we share wins, learnings, and challenges in our current business and life. So I'd have to say Rowan, my cousin.
Yes, love that. Such a good person to have there. I know a lot of people that do that themselves. They'll go and write down, here's the 3 things that I'm grateful for. Here's 3 learnings. And that's great. It takes another level when you're giving it to someone else, right?
Totally.
You think a little bit more. There's even the history of it there. They can bring it up. You learn from someone else as well. So it's huge. A two-sided thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's been learnings shared in those text messages that you don't have to go and do the work. You've actually picked up the learning from that. So it's really, really powerful and fun.
Awesome. Now, someone's listening to this, Ryan. They're like, I like this guy. He's pretty cool. Thinking about his program, but let me check him out first. Is the best thing to do to join your Facebook group?
Yes. And add me on Facebook. Come and hang out. There's plenty more space, and come join our group. Yeah. Facebook Group Secrets. And you'll see me there with a Jedi robe on. And that's the place to come and hang out. Jono's there. We're all there having fun. So would love to have you in.
Awesome. I'll put that link in the show notes as well. Ryan, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. Is there anything I should have asked you but didn't? Anything I forgot, or anything you want to finish us up with?
Great question. And I thought about it as we were talking about selling via messenger or message, and I was going to share that the largest, not sale, but purchase we've made was our brand new car recently, like last month. And we did that via text.
Wow.
With the dealership and the dealer that we were going through. And so, we were texting her back and forth, and she made the sale. And so, like, if you can buy a car through text worth tens of thousands of dollars, brand new, you can sell your program. So I say that to encourage everyone out there who might be doubting that it's possible. We've been on both ends of it, buying and selling, and it works.
Awesome. Well, hey, Ryan, thank you very much for your time.
John, I appreciate it.